Hello, everybody. This is Linda DeVitis, owner and founder of healingsonthego.com. I am the host of Healings on the Go with Linda DeVitis, psychic clairvoyant medium, certified healer, dolphin healer, Reiki healer, candle manifestation, professional space clearing, and a whole bunch more. To find out all the services I do, go to healingsonthego.com. I would like to introduce my special guest from iHeartRadio, Kendall Bell, to my show. Yay! Welcome back, Kendall. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
It's always nice to see you on. Everyone's excited that you're on today. How are you feeling?
Feeling good today. A little cold, getting
I know.
chilly. I'm sad that the summer's over, but
I
feels
know,
good.
right?
I'll get
Now
over
it's
it.
flu season,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I don't want to think about that.
I know, right? Don't think about it. That's what my dad used to say. He goes, don't put your attention on something that you don't want to create. And he knew that years ago. So I was always like, all right. He goes,
Yeah,
don't think about it.
yeah, I don't want to think about that. I
I
don't. We don't get sick. We
You
get
won't.
strong.
Yeah, I know. I just recovered from the corona and it was a horrible feeling, that's for sure. It was very bad. But thank God I'm better and that's all that counts.
Thank
Thank
God.
God for antibiotics.
All right.
Exactly. So today we're going to discuss how our challenges, well, it's our perception. We can either let them destroy us or we can try to think of it in a different kind of light. So basically, that's what we're going to talk about today. How
Hmm.
challenges, there's different parts of challenges, whether it's a lesson, it's bringing you somewhere. So let's take it one by one. Challenges to me is a lesson, but it also, they're very difficult. So it's very hard to just say, oh, okay, I'm going to snap out of it because they're very painful.
Yeah.
Like people that break up with people when they were totally in love with them. So you can't really tell them snap out of it because that's a deep, deep wound. So what I would tell them is, because from my own experience, I was, of course, I think we all were heartbroken and, unfortunately. So from my experience, I feel that when I look later on, it's like 10 years later, I was like, well, thank God that happened. He ended up cheating on everybody. So I was like, thank God that was a blessing, even though I was so in love and my heart was totally broken. But it's true
Hmm.
that later on, you do see the reason. And they're usually blessings, even though it doesn't feel that way. Not all of them, of course, because there are a lot of situations where it doesn't feel like a blessing. Hi, Anne. Welcome. Anne says hello, Kendall.
Hey, Ann.
So tell us one experience of something that you really hurt you, but later on it made you feel like, thank God it happened.
Yeah. It was honestly, it was a relationship. Again, I was in a
Yeah.
relationship. I was in it for a while, and you know, I realized now, I had attachment issues, and we both did, and it was something that we had to
Right.
work on within that relationship. So it was hard for us both to let go. But when it was time to leave, and I actually left, it it hurt in the beginning. It stunk in the beginning. You have to stop yourself from calling. You have to stop yourself from showing
Mhm.
up, and you know what I mean. Just all those little things. But in the end, I realized that I was holding on to a part of myself that needed to be healed, and I attracted it through the trauma that was passed down to me through my family, through things that my mother had endured, and things that I didn't realize were given to you energetically. But it was the same thing with her as well. She had the same trauma, and we were trauma bonding. And didn't realize it until I was out of the situation. It wasn't until I got out of the situation I was able to look at it from outside of the box that I realized that the universe was actually protecting me. And I had to experience that to know you had to go through what you don't want in order to know what you don't want.
That's so true.
It's the only way that you know. So it was like, when it happened, it's the worst thing. It's like, because you're losing a part of yourself, you're losing a part of your identity. But once you start to regrow yourself, and once you start to have your own identity again, you're able to see things from a different perspective. You have different lenses on, and you're able to see, why everything happened, why that person was in your life, why the little things that they did triggered you, why the little things that you did triggered them. Why all everything happened. you're able to see it, but that's only if you're able to recognize that there was some sort of moment where it was supposed to happen. It was supposed to be. We got up to this point, and now it's time to move on. You can't see that, and you just hold on. You just focus on what that person did and all the scenarios that happened. It just you're prolonging. At least for me, if I prolonged me seeing the light, all I focused on was the dark. All I focused on was the pain and what happened, and playing the scenario over and over and over and over and over in my head again until I switched it up. Once I changed my perspective, I got a different outcome.
Yeah, that's like the worst, to be heartbroken. A lot of people, it comes to extremes where in my mother's building, there was this lady
Yeah.
that she committed suicide because someone left her. And it was the scariest thing because I'll never forget. I was little looking out the window, hearing there's a body bag because this lady was so in love with her boyfriend that she ended up taking her own life. And that's like the worst ever, you
Yeah.
know. Sometimes people go to drastic measures, but unfortunately, that's not the way to go. And it's very sad, when people do that. And I always tell everybody, never take your life for nobody. Nobody's worth it.
Hmm.
Nobody's worth it. And I know it's very hard what you're going through, but there's a reason why you're going through it, you know.
Hmm.
And things happen, sometimes there's so many situations where it could be a temporary break, but then you go back together. So everyone's situation is different, but never kill yourself for anybody because no one's worth it. And what happens to you at the end? Your soul becomes earthbound. You don't even rest, and you have unfulfilled contracts where you have to come back. And or there's people that see that they go to the lower dimensions where those dreary spirits are, where they never fully, you know, accomplish what they're supposed to. So, what would you say to them, Kendall?
It's harder. It's a lot harder to say. It's hard to say anything to anybody that's going through that because everybody has different circumstances, different
Yeah,
situations. Some people have just been going through stuff for so long that they're tired,
yeah,
and it's hard. It's really
I
hard, but
know.
there's nothing that you can really say. The only thing that I can say from my personal experiences is pushing forward and trying to find a different road, a different path. It always helps. It helps you stay from that dark path that's leaving you in the gutter. So just always just no matter what it is, try to distract yourself with something positive. Try to distract yourself with something that's going to bring you happiness and peace. Go back to the things that you used to love, because at this point, the way I feel about me and my existence, if I'm not doing what I love, then I'm doing what I don't love. And when I don't do what I love, then that's when I don't love myself. Since sometimes that happens when you're in a relationship, sometimes that happens when you're in a job, sometimes that happens and just in life, in general. You feel it, your soul feels it.
And a quick
Like,
hello to Judith and Matthew. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do like and share. Welcome, everybody. Welcome.
thanks
Thank
for
you
tuning
for
in, guys.
tuning in. Yes,
But
and
yeah, no, the path is tough, and I realize that the ones that have the most light, I wouldn't even say the most light, the ones that have the greatest path, the hardest path. You got to go through the most turmoil, and it's like a never ending streak of just ups and downs and ups and downs and balancing and coming out and learning from yourself and your own experiences. Experience is life's greatest teacher. And for me at this point in my life, like I can learn more from somebody who's experienced life than someone who's just read about it, read a book. So at the end of the day, that's who we all are through our experiences and the things that you've gone through. Don't look down on them. Look at, all right, I have experience in this field of practice, which may be pain. Okay, you're experiencing pain, but there has to be yin and yang. There has to be light and there has to be dark,
right.
and that's how you get your message across, and that's how you're always going to be able to connect with other people. Strangers are going to start coming up to you, speaking to you out of nowhere. It's kind of amazing how it works, but it's just all about perspective.
Exactly. Judith is right. She says, fight for yourself, change your negativity, vent to a friend. Exactly. You're not
For real.
alone. You're not alone. So please do not, you don't have to be alone, and don't keep it to yourself. Don't stay down for so long. because again, everything's energy, and when you stay down long enough, you will go to the vibration where those things will come and start talking to you. And I've had an experience when I was way younger, like my teens, and it would say, "Nobody loves you. Why do you?" It plays with your head. And how do
Yeah,
spirits again talk to your mind? Right? They're
yeah,
talking through you, and that's the number one reason why I wrote my book, "My Journey from Darkness to the Light," and you can find it on my site healingsonthego.com. But I went through a lot of stuff, and they would talk. Spirit downloads information. So if you stay on a lower dimension long enough, they will start telling you things where they will tempt you to do something like that. And you have to always remember that all your thoughts are not always all your thoughts. They're not always your thoughts. They're spirits talking through you. Believe it or not, it's true. Especially when you see on the news, oh, this lady killed her baby, this and that. And then they would tell her, who told, they would ask the lady, did anyone tell you to do it? And she goes, yeah, the, you know who went through me and told me who to do it. The horn man, we should call him. So yeah, when
yeah.
you're on that dimension, you know who's gonna visit you, and as I said, it's not easy because I know everyone's pain is very dear to them, especially what they're going through. You can't judge someone and say, "Oh my God, you're like down so long." You can't say that. What you could do is offer them help. Can I help you? What can I do for you? I hate
Mm.
when people are judgmental. Like, you don't know what the person's going through. So instead of judging them, help them. Say, okay, let's go out for coffee, or try to help them out of it. Don't just make fun of them.
Yeah, I think that's one of the toughest things, that I've experienced when it comes to, just being down in the gutter. So when you realize that you're surrounded by people that can necessarily help you or don't care to help you or don't know how to help you, and the worst thing that you can say to a person is, oh, just brush it off. Just
You
shake it off.
can't do it. It's not
It's,
easy.
I think that's, if you're not going to sit down and actually engage and see the depth of what this person's going through, then you can't call yourself a friend or family to that person, because if the person's saying something to you and they're hurting over it, you got to really understand that people express things differently, and you don't know if someone's really really suffering unless you actually put yourself in their shoes, and that's where empathy comes in, and you have to be empathetic. I'll never tell one of my friends to just shake it off.
No way.
Just shake it off. Hey, what's going on? What, what's the root of this? What's the solution? And I find myself being that person in my life. I do have a few people that I can count on, but and that's through time and me realizing that the ones that I was surrounded with, they can't offer me any help that's going to help me heal. They're not healing themselves. So how are they going to help me heal? It's nothing against them, and that's what you got to realize. It's nothing against the people that you're around. It's all you and what you choose to keep yourself around. You want to be around people that are going to give you the same light and same strength that you give to others effortlessly, and that's how you combat all of the darkness and all the bad thoughts. And it stings because as introverts and people, souls out here who have a mission, you feel like you have a mission, especially like you don't want to ask for help. You always want to be the helper. You don't want to ask for help.
Exactly. That's so true.
So
Because they look up to you, and then you're like, how can I ask for help? You know what I mean? But
you
we're
can't.
human too.
You can't, and that's where I find myself. So now it's like a lot of the people, like my friends that like I was always there for. Like I don't even reach out to them. I'll call you, or you know what I mean. I'll call. I don't call the ones that I used to speak to about it, because at the end of the day, I was looking for them to respond to me the way I respond to them, and they never did. But it wasn't their fault; they just weren't capable of doing it.
Exactly. Hello, Ria. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Please do like and share. Judith says, I have the book. They push and push until they break you. You can't
Yeah.
ignore the person. It's true. They will push and push, especially when you're on a lower dimension. They know exactly, those dark things know exactly what to tell you when you're in that thing. And I've had my experience, so I know exactly, how that feels. And they will push you until people do something drastic, unfortunately. So whoever is suicidal, please do contact me, because my service will be free to you. I always want to help someone. If it's to save your life, I'm not gonna, you know, charge. I tell the people, that are really bad, send me your picture, and if I feel you need it, I will do it for you and help you out. It's not easy, and you should never be alone during this time, because you're here for a mission. You're not here to give up. Never give up, and things do get better. I believe challenges opens different directions, different pathways. So it's bringing you somewhere different. And that morning, like if I didn't go through hauntings and spiritual craziness, I would never even get into healings. So in my case, that was a positive thing because it brought me to healings. If I never experienced the dark side, I could never help anyone. And I'm sure you can relate too, Kendall.
Yes, I think we all can. It's just like you don't know what you know until you know it. You got to grow through it.
Exactly.
We could talk about whatever we saw in a movie or we read in a book, but you can actually, people can feel when you've gone through something. You know what I mean? If you
Yeah.
turn darkness into light, and that right there automatically inspires the next person to keep pushing, just from you pushing through, like without you even knowing, just you battling that within yourself, the essence and the vibration of you transmuting energy, it just pushes out and it helps
Yeah.
a person without you even realizing it. And it's crazy because I realize that a lot of people that I know, they don't realize how powerful they are. They don't realize realize how powerful they are and like how powerful their mindsets are, and the words that they're using. And I had a conversation with one of my friends the other day. I hadn't seen him in a while, and like everything out of his mouth was just negative, 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 negative. And then I said to him, my bro, I'm like, we've been talking for like 15 minutes, and all I've heard was the negative in your life and other people's lives. I'm like, what's good? You know what I mean? What's
Yeah.
good in your life? What's going on? And then like his vibration changed, and he started talking about the good stuff. He's like, you're right. I was talking about negative. I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, and you're draining me. I'm like, you really are. You're draining me. But he changed his vibration. He started speaking about the good things that was going on in his life. Got raised at his job, truck, all those different little things. And it was just one of those aha moments where it was like, which beast are you gonna feed? And that's what it comes down to with the thoughts, like which beast are you gonna feed? And it's not easy. It's not easy. And anybody telling us that it's easy, anybody telling you that you can just turn your life around just like that, and there's
No,
no hurdles, that they're not real. They're not telling you the truth.
no.
That's not true at all. And when I first started healing, I was surrounded by, a bunch of different people, who were healers. And I always went towards the one that was like, you know what, you got to go into the darkness. You got to go with this. You know what I mean? Everything is not all light and love. Like, it's not that. It's not at all.
It's
That
not.
comes at the end. You know what I mean? And it's like a part of it's a recipe, it's part of it, the magic, but it's not it. It's not everything. And a lot of people end up hurting more in the end when you just brush stuff off and like, oh, it's okay. And then you're just letting people be passive aggressive towards you, and you're not speaking your truth. And just little things, all that stuff builds up. Whether in your job, you shouldn't be disrespected. Letting a person just disrespect you without, counteracting that and holding that in, that affects you. That affects your self-esteem. That affects the thoughts in your mind. And then you start thinking it's your fault and something wrong with you. And there's nothing really wrong with you at all, other than the fact that you need to speak your truth and let people know that these are your boundaries. Because when you let people violate your boundaries, this also messes with your mind and your psyche.
Beliefs carry action. What you believe in strongly is what's going to become your action.
True.
Stay tuned, everybody. We're going to take a very quick commercial break, and we'll be right back right after these messages.
All right. Is everybody having a good time tonight or what? That's what I thought. I don't want to come back down from this cloud, this cloud, this cloud, this cloud, this cloud, this cloud.
Hi, I am Linda DeVitis. I am a psychic, clairvoyant medium, and certified healer. I have also written a book, My Journey from Darkness to the Light, which is available on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, and on my website, www.healingsonthego.com. If you would like to book an appointment with me, call me at 917-929-4935. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back with my special guest from iHeartRadio, Kendall Bell. Yay! welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Please, again, do like and share. So, I wanted to bring up guilt, and some people have a lot of guilt on them. I had this lady one time tell me, "Well, I'm not perfect." I said, "Who is perfect? Nobody's perfect." I said, but you can't dwell in the past and say, oh, I did this and that, and harp on yourself and beat yourself up and put you through self destruction, because you cannot ever change the past. But what you could do is change your perception and change your reality, because you did this or whatever you did for a reason. At that time, you thought it was the right thing, but you can't go back. So change what you don't like. You don't have to be set on it, right?
It's true. It's true. And changing the perspective, change your perception, your perspective. It's hard, but it's easy. And
Right.
it comes easy when you practice. That's just what it is. Just find your ups to your downs, and we all battle through it. But once we understand the power of it, then we start to make sure that it's one of the things that's important in our lives when it comes to what we're trying to bring into fruition. Um, Me, I'm a loner, so it's me being a loner. A lot of the time I'm always in my own world, so I have to always just be that person. I always have to, like, all right, well, this is happening for this reason, this is happening for that reason, and I have to continue to do it. And if
Yeah.
I don't do it, then I'll let my thoughts take over, and instead of me being in control of my thoughts. But I realize too that your heart has to be in the right place, and your heart is also your brain as well. It's like it controls your brain, it controls your mind. And if your heart's not in the right place and your heart is controlling your mind, then it can be a dangerous thing.
Right. And I believe in karma. I believe that certain things that happen could be from past lives. I also believe in soul contracts, because I remember clearly before I was born. So I know we all have soul contracts. I clearly remember picking my parents. I remember picking my sisters, and them telling the spirits telling me these are going to be your sisters. So it's not something I read in a book, but it's something I clearly remember. So I know we have soul contracts, and I believe this life is just a stage. And I always feel that worrying, because I was, and I still am, sometimes I worry too. I'm only human. But I do believe that worry just is a waste of emotion. Why? Because it just makes you everything you don't want. It'll make
Mm,
you sick. It'll make you worry for no reason. I mean, look, you're obviously worried for a reason, but it's nothing good's gonna come out of worrying. So
yeah.
instead, what I do is I'll just try to say, okay, so what can I do to change how I feel? Like, try to see it from a different angle. And
Yeah.
instead, like that, you can kind of maneuver it so that way it's going to help you, instead of drag you in a pit where you're not even going to want to get up in the morning.
Yeah, I know that all too well. It's all
I
about the
know.
action. It's the action. Worry without action is dangerous. You got to act on it. There's always a solution. Sometimes the solution is just to let go. Just let go of the thought and just keep moving. Keep doing all the things that make ensure your life to be comfortable. And sometimes that's the only thing you can do. Just wait for the outcome.
Yeah, and observe it. Observe your thought, because try to see it like an observer and see. So, like what I do is I go, okay, if I keep focusing on it, do I want it manifested in my reality? Most of the time, the answer is no.
Hmm.
So I'll say, okay, now what do I want in my reality? Then I think of something else that makes me laugh or something. So I'll try to focus on that, because it's true. Like one thought connects to the other, and then our emotions and becomes a physical manifestation. Everything in the body is something that was once a thought, whether it be
Hmm.
stomach pain, undigested thoughts, your headache, everything means something. So it's not easy to do, but once you start practicing on it, I think it will make more sense. The soul wants to always experience good, bad, happy, sad. Without the yin, there is no yang. Without feeling depressed, you cannot appreciate the good stuff. Without, it's like being sick. You you'll appreciate more, being healthy. So everything is yin and yang. That's what I believe. And little by little, you can get through it, but you have to kind of see it with a different perception.
Hmm.
What works for you, Kendall?
What was that? Say
What
that
works
again.
for you? What works for you? Like, is there a special technique? Like, let's say you feel really down. Is there something that helps you like either snap out of it or like,
Just moving, being active. Just getting out of my funk, going for a jog, meditating. Just anything to just standing still is what makes it worse for me. Standing still
exactly?
and doing nothing about it. And again, standing still with vibrations, it helps. But standing still with my thoughts and nothing to counteract my thoughts is dangerous. So, I just figured, I know for me, like the other day I went and played football and I was hurting, I was sore, but I felt good. I felt really good about myself and just, getting out there and staying active. So yeah, just shifting the vibration, gotta change the vibration because like you said, the mindset, it attracts whatever it is that we're thinking. So if we stay there, then we're gonna attract all the things that come with those thoughts. So
And I have a little technique which really helps me, because why do you think people cut their hair when they break up with someone? Do you
hmm,
know why?
no, I
Have you
never thought about
noticed
that.
why? Like, have you ever noticed when people leave a relationship or something, they either cut their hair, dye their hair, something with the hair?
Yeah, I noticed that a lot.
Because that's the crown chakra and the energy of it. They want to clear it off. So they'll
Hmm.
either change their hair color or cut it. What they're actually doing energetically is cutting off the cords that are connected with that person,
Oh,
because our
okay.
hair is antennas. It
Yeah,
attracts.
it
So
attracts. Yes. Okay,
what
that makes
helps
sense.
me what helps me is that when I feel very, because we all pick up energy, especially when we're sensitive, like me and you. And I feel
Hmm.
that the best thing to do is take Epsom salt and wash your hands with it. And our
Hmm.
hands, of course, attract energy too. So when you wash your hands, salt also absorbs negative energy, and that really helps. Believe it or not, try it. Whenever you feel like in a something negative, go wash your hands with Epsom salt. Then tell me how you feel.
Okay.
This lady, you know what she did? She took a whole bath. She goes, I soaked in it, Linda, head to toe. And I felt better because I said, well, you're going to a little extreme there, but it's okay. So she said that she felt like the sparkle. She felt much happier because the salt absorbs a lot of negative
Awesome.
energy. So that's a good trick to try, because when
Yeah.
I tell my sister something, she's like, go wash your hands with salt. I'm like, I did. I feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. Sage helps a lot.
Yeah.
Sage, Palo Santo,
Hmm.
just the smell of it, just clearing out the energies. But I definitely I my go to is vibrations. We just keep the vibrations on.
Right.
528, 432. Yeah, it helps. It always eases the mood. Just you can put it on in your house when you're not home. You walk in and you feel the difference in your home.
Right, right.
Amazing.
Frequency. Yes, you're very right. The frequency. If you guys want to listen to something, go to the frequencies. They really do help. And they're different ones. One is for the head, one is for the stomach.
Hmm.
Yeah, everything helps on its own level. Whatever suits you, whatever makes you feel good.
Yeah.
So again, focusing. Don't focus on what you can't control, because then you're gonna. That's where anxiety comes from. When you have anxious feelings, that
Hmm.
is usually you're looking too far into the future. That's what my experience is.
Hmm.
And so, what you want to do is think of what you can control. So, worrying about what's going to happen in 10 years is not going to help you, or even a year from now, because I believe that God always has a plan and things will work out in your favor. Just trust in it.
Yeah, it's hard to see the plan.
I
It's
know
hard.
it is.
It's
Trust me,
really
I
hard,
know.
just waiting and just us being human and always wanting to see. We have to have instant gratification to be able to see in order to believe. But having
Right.
faith goes a long way.
Exactly. And I ran into an earth angel many years ago when my daughter was 1 years old, and I felt very depressed. And there was because one income, and it was very hard then too. So this man came out of nowhere and he goes to me, "What are you worried about?" And then I told him, and he goes, "Listen," he goes, "I'll tell you this, in 1 year everything's going to get better for you." Then I was thinking, yeah, right. And I was like, "Okay, thank you." He goes, "Trust me." He
Yeah.
goes, "Everything pans out." I go, "Are you sure?" And he goes, "I promise you." He goes, "Trust me when I tell you." And he looked like my favorite author, Neil Donald Walsh, right? So then I said, "Okay." And then he said a few other things that made me feel better. And then what happens is, of course, now look how they disappear. So my daughter caught my attention, and she's like, ah, she wanted something. So I went to turn my head, and of course, what do you think happens? He disappears. I'm like, so
Wow.
I'm looking in every aisle because I wanted to tell him, thank you so much for the positive message. It really made me feel good. So
Hmm.
I'm looking, I'm like, this man vanished. I couldn't believe it, but he did.
Earth Angel 101.
Yes, and that's how angels always speak, and they gave me the chills even thinking about it. But God bless him wherever you are, and thank you for the message, because it really, we need to hear it, you know?
Hmm. For
Have
sure.
you ever had an earth angel give you a message?
Yes, I've had. It's happened to me. It happens in different forms, though. My grandma comes through for me a
Uh,
lot. And whether I see her or not, I hear her
uh-huh.
all of the time, and I can hear her voice, and you know, I'll be even the other day,
Wow.
my mind was just drifting, and it's this
Wow.
blue jay just flew right by me. And I feel like it's my
Wow.
grandma comes in the form of animals, and
Wow.
she loved blue jays, so it just flew right by me, and the thoughts in my head, everything's gonna be okay. Stay focused on the path. And I just looked up and I smiled, and it's just one of those things where you have to be aware in order for you to actually accept this information. People think you're crazy when you
That's
speak
all
to
right.
them. And it's the crazy ones that change the world.
That's right.
It's always the ones that were told that you're nuts, or you can't do that, or that's not normal, or you're weird. Those are the ones
Thank
that
you,
change
I
the world.
tell them.
Yeah, right. Compliment. Well, look at it now. It's actually cool to be weird now.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know.
And we know something you don't know, right? That's what it is,
Mm.
because they don't
Well, we all
understand.
yes, we all
They
have
find
something to
it
learn to teach. That's just what it is. And as much as you're a teacher, you got to be a learner too. And
exactly.
that's what it
That's
boils
funny.
down to. What was
Go
funny?
ahead. No, it's funny because one time I was laying on my bed, and this was before I had my daughter, and I felt anxiety too. So I was laying down, and I felt my spirit guide come in. She goes, "Get up. There's nothing wrong with you." It just came through my head, and I felt her energy because she has blonde,
Yeah,
long hair. So then I was like, and then she goes, "Get up, get up." So I was like, "All right." So I got up, but it's funny how they speak when you're open to them and your
yeah,
mind is quiet. They come right through.
come right through. Yeah, and you know it, and you got to do exactly what it is that they're saying. And then when you don't feel better. When you do, you feel better, and you laugh.
Yeah.
But it changes your vibration instantly.
Yeah, and I was like, "Are you sure nothing's wrong with me?" Because I was scared. The anxiety is the worst thing to feel when your heart is racing and you feel nervous. So I was like,
Hmm.
I just want to lay down. She was like, "There's nothing wrong with you, girl. Get up."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The winter time gets tough
Mhm.
with battling thoughts. You're not out in the sun. You're not getting that vitamin D. You're in the house. One of the things that you must do, like I gotta do, is I gotta keep cleaning. I gotta keep clearing the energy because I'm spending more time in my house now. And when I don't, I just feel like I'm just being suffocated and smothered. It's weird, but it has a lot to do with what I'm harboring, and being cold. And I love the ocean. I live by
Uh,
the ocean, so I love the ocean. I love to be out there. I'll go out there when it's cold, but it's not the same as the sun. You're not out there as much
uh,
when it's 30 degrees outside. So it's kind of different. But yeah, no. While with this winter seasons intact, we got to make sure that we're doing all these things that we need to do in order to make sure that we're getting the light that we need. And
exactly.
clean space is very important.
Mhm.
People that we hang out with is very important. If you're hanging out with yourself, make sure that your environment is going to be a reflection of what you want and not what you don't want, because you're all going to come out of your cocoon, whatever it is that you've been sitting here and hibernating with. And,
Exactly. And Judith says a simple hug. Well, I have to be honest, I hug very rare people because sometimes, which I won't name who, but anyway, if they're very angry, I'm like, don't even come near me.
yeah,
I'm very
yeah,
picky who I hug. So if I ever hugged you, take it as a compliment.
touche.
I
Yeah,
mean,
no, you take on that energy. You take it on. Even a handshake, you take it on. So you got to
exactly.
keep that Epsom salt in your back pocket.
I mean, if they need a healing and they feel, that they're really good hearted, they just need a little help, that's fine. But if
Hmm.
they're wishing negative things, I could instantly, and me and you can instantly pick up on that. So,
Hmm.
I'm very picky. My husband's like, you always half hug people. Like I just hug them with one arm. I was like, well, I'm just a little picky, but that's just the way it is.
Selective.
It's energy cords, you don't want to pick up on certain things,
This is true. Yeah, this is very true. And everything you touch, everything you're connected to, it becomes a part of you. So just make
especially
sure
the
that
eyes.
yeah. What's that? What did you say?
Especially the eyes too.
Oh yeah, looking people in the eyes is can be
Oh,
dangerous sometimes. Some
that's
people I
another
just can't
thing
look
I
in
don't
the
do.
eyes.
That's another thing I don't do. I don't look at certain people. I will avoid looking in their eyes. I look at your nose or something else. But have you ever had that you look at someone and your eyes hurt?
Oh yeah, or they'll start getting crossed and I'll start getting dizzy. some people, yeah, some people I just can't look in the eye.
Exactly. There
Their
was
energy
this
just throws me off.
exactly. There was this lady that she was looking at me and my eyes were hurting so bad, and I said to myself, just like look at them slowly. If it's safe, then I'll look at you in your eyes.
Yeah, yeah, they start to throb. It's a weird feeling, and you can't engage and stay engaged with the eye contact with them. It's hard. It's actually hard, and it's like all right, and then you start feeling weird. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Exactly. But if
Mhm.
someone is sad and they need a hug, of course I'm gonna hug them. It's just the
Yeah.
intention. We can feel behind the what they really are thinking, You know what
Hmm.
I mean. So
Hmm.
nothing
Yeah, I do.
bad, but she says I won't look in their eyes. You can see their negativity. Exactly.
Hmm.
You really can. You can feel them very strong. And
The eyes are
especially
window to the soul. So it's like if someone has dark spirits in them and dark soul, you don't want to take that on. You don't. And it just stings because we're not even aware of a lot of us are not even aware of this ability and like what it does, and how we're connected to everything. Doesn't matter what it is. The music you listen to, you start seeing it. That's why it's dangerous to be a rapper. Like if you're gonna be a rapper talking about manifestations of what you want. You know what I mean? You don't want to get shot. You don't want to get robbed. You don't want to get killed. You know what I mean? Like that's why a lot of these rappers are dying, and people don't realize the music's so potent. Music is very it's a spell. If people don't realize it, and put in so these people, whenever you're talking about, is what you're gonna get. That's why rappers die every single day, because they're literally manifesting their reality through their music, and they're making it even more stronger when they have the vibrations of the music with the beats behind it. They don't realize what they're doing, and it's horrible. You don't see, Christian rappers getting shot. And I'm not to laugh about it, but it's just the truth. You don't see that. You don't see trans artists getting shot. You see people that are negative and negative and negative, negative, and what they're talking about. Literally they're creating their reality. So
Exactly. We will be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned, everybody.
All right. Is everybody having a good time tonight or what? That's what I thought.
Hi, I am Linda DeVitis. I am a psychic clairvoyant medium and certified healer. I have also written a book, My Journey from Darkness to the Light, which is available on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, and on my website, www.healingsonthego.com. If you would like to book an appointment with me, call me at 917-929-4935. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back with my special guest, Kendall Bell. Hey. Welcome back, Kendall. So I want to talk about, since everything stems inside you, what I want to talk about is confidence. So the way you feel about yourself is how you're going to allow other people to talk to you, like when you have a strong inner, confidence, self-esteem, there's certain things that you will not tolerate. So what is very important is boosting your confidence and your self-esteem when you feel better. Of course, when you don't feel better, you're not gonna. But I believe that every challenge is a chance so that you can make yourself a better version of yourself. So you working in your inside, inside reflects the outside, and the healthier the thoughts, the healthier the body.
it's true. Very true.
Yeah, so working on how you feel, like your thoughts create your reality. So, with that said, work on positive affirmations and say them out loud. Mirroring, like when you say them, looking in the mirror is very important. They say it's a good manifestation tip. And also looking into your eyes when you're saying them and actually
Mhm.
believing what you're saying. So, working on yourself will create a healthy life and it will make you feel more positive. So that way, when challenges do come through, your energy will be strong. Did you ever see like people that glow like you do, Kendall? You glow with
Me,
positive energy.
I beg to differ sometimes. I'm just kidding.
You're
Thank you.
very strong. Kendall is a spiritual warrior, very humble. He's gone through so many things and he still smiles. And you still have your nice glow and you still have people gravitating to you.
Yeah.
Yes, Kendall, you went through a lot of the boy, I never seen someone so strong. God bless you and your strength. And every time you go and get knocked down, he comes that much stronger and he's ready.
That's it.
Now it's like Super
That's it.
Mario. Yeah. God bless you. Really,
You know,
you
it's
really do a lot of
you
good
know,
stuff.
I realized through trials and tribulations, that's what connects us to people. I can't vibe with people that haven't gone through pain. I feel like, you know, pain and you know, the lessons that we learn through them, that's what connects us all. You know, things that we've gone through, like, it really is. You can sit down, you can share an experience with somebody, you know, and a lot of the times when we do share these experiences with somebody, we're going to talk to somebody who actually has a little bit more information to share with us that's going to help us heal whatever it is that we've gone through. So it's like, I love people that come out and they just talk about their darkness, not talk about their darkness to victimize themselves, but talk about their darkness to connect on a deeper level. And that's how I feel it is. Like, there's a huge difference when you're speaking to a person who's just speaking about their darkness so they can, you know, stay in that victim mentality. But there's a difference when you can speak to a person who's, you know, who's a warrior, who's talking about this, who leads with their pain, you know, and they're telling you, this is why I am an empathetic person. This is why I put myself in your shoes and I will never treat you the way that I don't want to be treated. You know, so there's a huge difference with that. I aim to be that person
Exactly.
since, like, when I'm speaking to somebody, that's when I'm talking about pain, I'm talking about myself. I'm not talking about it to be a victim. I'm talking about it to be a warrior. And it's always great when you can surround yourself with fellow warriors, or watch another, you know, soul emerge into that warrior that they never thought that they were from the jump.
Exactly. And a quick hello to Maria. Thank you for tuning in. Anne says, I love when Kendall is on. He's such an inspiration. Huh? You're so sweet, Anne. You're a beautiful
Peace
angel.
and love.
Yes.
Thank you.
He's awesome.
I
And he
appreciate
always
all of
knows, and he's so humble too. You are the best, Kendall. Everyone likes your energy because you're
you.
very you're not you know, everyone can feel how your energy expands. You're very compassionate and you have a nice flow to you. So you're doing great.
No, thank you. This show always gives me a little boost my spirits,
That's why I bring
keep me
you
on the
on.
path.
That's sweet. So basically, achieving and setting your own goals for your own personal growth, encouraging yourself. And so instead of focusing on what you can't control, focus on goals that you're working for yourself, work towards them, and try to get a sense of direction. Put yourself into a position where you feel like you can step past this slowly and get a sense of your life's purpose because we're all here for a reason. So never think that your life revolves around anyone because what it does do, it revolves about yourself and how you're treating yourself and what you're allowing people to do to you. You know, so that's when you get the self courage. And sometimes when people have suffered enough, that's when they do change and they set different mindsets. So again, that's the next step. Open your mind. So instead of seeing the disadvantage, try to see that this is kind of teaching you something that needs to be addressed, some work, some healing work that you have to work on. And again, it's not easy because everyone's going through struggles and you can never snap out of it. But what you could do is try to kind of shift and look at it through a different perspective.
Nothing
So,
about this life that's easy
exactly,
at all.
exactly. I know. That's what they say, the strong warriors come here. And everyone's going through a challenge. But never give up and never kill yourself because that's the worst thing you can ever do to your soul. You will never be rested. That's the worst thing. Do not even listen to those voices because you will just join those negative forces. You don't want to go through that. You're here for a reason. You're here to go through what you're going through, but you're going to be okay and things will get better because you have to think, does it rain forever? No, the sun will come out. Just be patient. So,
Patience is a virtue.
exactly. So just hang in there and little by little work on yourself. Love yourself and try to see that there's a different path coming your way. And then, like I said, later on, you'll probably say, well, thank God that happened, even though it hurt me. It brought me to something else, you know? Can you tell us one of your experiences, Kendall?
with
with
being
something
hurt.
that challenged you. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was a job that I was at. You know,
Uh,
I stayed at this job. I just felt like I needed to be there. I was focused more on the money than myself. You know, I wasn't being treated right. You know, I
uh,
was taking on the energy of the owners who were very negative. Every day you had to walk on eggshells. It was just one of those things that happened. And then out of nowhere, I ended up getting sick, and
wow.
I got really sick, and I was in the hospital for like 2 weeks. I got a staph
Oh my God.
infection from the job, and like, yeah, it was crazy. I almost died. It was bad.
Oh
But
my God. That's
I was in the
horrible.
hospital, and while I was in the hospital, I was just, I was able to, sit back and reflect. Like, why is this happening? What's going on? And I came to the conclusion that it was time for me to move on, and this is the reason why. My body was reacting towards the energy. It was releasing all the energy that I've been absorbing for how many ever years that I was there.
Wow.
I tried to go back after that. It didn't even last a month. I tried to go back, and it was the same negative energy, and then I just removed myself from the situation. When I first left, I was like, I was worried, but then, at the end of the day, I was good because I ended up getting to a better situation, a better job, and then COVID happened. And I was
Wow.
just at this job long enough. I was at this job that I was the new job long enough for me to receive unemployment, so I didn't have to worry about, finding a job during COVID. So I was like, and I was able to heal further during that time during COVID and really find myself. So it was just one thing led to another. But had I stayed with that company, I was a 1099 employee. I would have been screwed during
Wow.
COVID. I would
Wow.
have,
This is perfect.
there's so many
This
things,
is
so many different things like lined up that pushed me in the right direction. But I get why it happened. But yeah, it's one of my
wow.
experiences.
We only have 2 minutes left. So if someone wants to reach you, where could they find you?
You can find me at Rare Breed Universe on Facebook. You can also find me at Kendall Bell on Facebook and Instagram, Rare Breed Universe, and TikTok, Rare Breed Universe.
Awesome. Well, everyone can find me at healingsonthego.com. Linda DeVitis. Instagram is healingsonthego.com. And I thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in today. You guys are great, and use your challenges as a stepping stone to something better that's going to happen. Stay strong and hang in there. Life is bumpy, but you could get through it and you will get through it. Any last words, Kendall?
Just be you in a world full of them. Always be yourself. The only time we feel lost is when we lose grasp of who we really are. So stay being you, and you're gonna surround yourself with the reflections of who you truly are.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And thank you so much again for
Thanksgiving.
tuning in. God bless each and
Thank you.
every one of you. Stay strong and be well, be healthy. God bless you all. Have a great night.